Hey guys, good evening to all. Now today we are going to discussing about our end-to-end project. Okay, now think this is not completely end-to-end our project, like as basically this is startup. Okay, let's say we are starting a project. Okay, we are starting a project. There is a lot of things to be add a flavor on this. Okay, now for example today what we are going to do is, for example, let's say we are getting the code from GitHub and we are going to be like as it will be, there is a Docker file. This is a nodejs application. Think this is a nodejs. It could be whatever it could be. Okay, it could be Maven or whatever it could be. Even we already done the couple of things in the Docker implementation with the Tomcat deployment and the nodejs applications, all the stuff. And now build the Docker image. Build a Docker image, and we are going to push this Docker image to the ECR repository. It is in AWS container registry, and from there what we do, we are going to be set up for Kubernetes, like as Ansible. From Ansible is working as a deployment tool here, and where we are deploying under the Kubernetes cluster. Under the Kubernetes cluster, I think we have covered everything, but this is this step we missed out. Even we use for Ansible separated to deployment. Okay, like maybe end-to-end deployment we already done with the Ansible, and even we did not use the Kubernetes model in Ansible. That is what we are going to discuss today. Okay, Kubernetes module we are going to deploy on the Kubernetes cluster now. Okay, this is the what we are going to do end to end. Let me draw the diagram. You guys can be clear for this. Now, for example, let's say now you are the developer and you are implementing what are the code you have. Okay, and what you do, you are pushed to the code into the GitHub repository. You push to the code into the GitHub repository, and the next what we do, our Jenkins will be pull the code, or Jenkins will be pull the code. In Jenkins we have done a couple of plugins, and I'll show that what are the plugins need to be installed, all the stuff. Okay, and this Jenkins, in Jenkins we have done a couple of configuration. Okay, we installed a couple of plugins here, like as Amazon ECR plugin. Okay, like as whatever Git and all those things, pipeline, all those things were email or whatever the prerequisite things are already done. Okay, this is the for this project. Okay, Amazon ECR to integrate to push. Even this session we already discussed in our like this Docker sessions. Okay, Amazon ECR push to the Docker image, build the Docker image, and push to the Docker image to the ECR repository. That was we done. But pull that image to deploy the container using the Kubernetes, that is not, we are not done. That is exactly we do today. Okay, and the next, let's say we are integrated with the Ansible, right? Let's Ansible plugin. Then Ansible plugin for this. Okay, these two plugins we are going to use here. And the next, what we do, let's say we build the image and we push to the where the ECR repository, that is in the cloud. We are pushed to the ECR repository. The image we are pushed to the ECR repository. Yes, we are not implementing here is the like as blue-green deployments, like as rollback, those kind of things. That is which we discussed in the Kubernetes concept. Okay, even that will do that. That will do that. Okay, some automation tools, like as if any new version will come, it automatically deploy to the execute the like as Kubernetes Kubernetes objects and whatever it could be. Okay, there is a couple of tools are there. There may be help charts. It could be Ansible, Jinja templates, or something we have. Okay, we'll discuss that in depth later on. Then next, what we do, this is the ECR repository. We push this image to the ECR repository, and from ECR repository, what we do, we are writing for like as Ansible playbook. This Ansible playbook, it contains for Kubernetes objects also. Okay, this Ansible playbook will pull that here is the Kubernetes objects we are going to return. That objects which we are using here is that replicaset as of now today. Replicaset, and the next, and service object. To get outside accessing purpose, we are going to use the expose node port and the else load balancer, something we are going to use it to access your service. That service object we are going to use now. Replicaset and then service object we are going to be deploying now. This is we are returning using the K8s module. The next, what we do, this Kubernetes, like this Ansible playbook will be execute and it will run on the your Kubernetes cluster. So where this setup is already everything is installed, like as each tool you guys know how to install and all. Okay, there is a couple of extra packages you need to install when you do that. When you do that, like as with this Ansible setuping, okay, like as there is need, if you want to execute a K8s like as K8s module, you need a OpenShift OpenShift libraries, okay, that we need to be installed. I'll show the commands what need to be installed, and even we are going to do for one fresh setup, everything in the fresh setup. Okay, we'll take a one class for this, 3 hours of session for entire our 1 weekend. Okay, I'll let you know that. And now, as of now, we are going to do this in the Kubernetes. Even we know like as all the setups this discussing this class level, we already set up this all the stuff here. Okay, with like as we are integrated with the Jenkins and ECR repository, all the stuff we already learned this. We already integrated this. Now even we are deployed through the Kubernetes objects and then Kubernetes like as this Ansible. Okay, don't confuse this. And Ansible we are using the K8s module. The module name is the K8s. And the next we are deploying the Kubernetes cluster. This Kubernetes cluster which we are implemented the same, the previous session in the 8 p.m. session, whatever we created the same cluster I'm using today. Okay, I'm using that same session today, same cluster setup, like as one master and 2 nodes which we used, and that same setup I'm going to use today. Okay, now let's see that if you go for like one by one here, first of all I'll show the GitHub code, and then what other things should be there. There should be a one Docker file, and then there should be our actual nodejs code in that. Okay, let me show our repository. Let me go into that. Let me open the GitHub.
One question.
Yeah,
Jagdish here. Without Ansible also we can deploy to Kubernetes cluster.
Even we can use like a directly we can integrate with us, like as you guys are asking it, right, how we are going to be deployed the all tools. Okay, that's the reason I'm adding the I guess in Kubernetes also. Sorry, Ansible also. Okay,
but with Ansible any special uses? With Ansible any special uses when you?
That's what I said, right? There, for example, any new image will come in that repository. Okay, the Ansible will have a couple of templates or the Ninja templates that could be triggered automatically, and that could be in like as those kind of features we have in the Ansible level. Even instead of that, even we have the help charts. Even instead of that, we are using for the there is some tool. Okay, for the tooling. Okay, I'll get even I written the couple of documents that I'll discuss that also. Okay, there is a different tools are there in place of using that.
So the way of deployment and workness is easy here then.
Yeah, very simple. Simplest way we are deploying here. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
But basically in real time, the like as in Ansible means like as Ansible most of the we are going to be like as set up our environment, like a for example like a configuration management tools. Now the same software you install the multiple nodes. Okay, and you want to be take a backup jobs and like whatever kind of jobs okay you want to be do. Like as in the same node, whatever you do, you want to do like as 10 nodes. Same job you want to do multiple times. Then we go Ansible Chapter for this kind of scenarios. Okay, like as in installation stuff or any uninstallation stuff, maybe some copying the files, maybe something, let's say any software we install like as MySQL, Redis, or blah 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 things, whatever. Okay, those scenario will go for Kubernetes like as Ansible. Even I have seen a couple of projects in real time. Okay, there guys are using for like as OpenShift and Kubernetes, like a Kubernetes with that like as Kubernetes with Ansible deployment. Okay, most of the Jinja templates they are used and they are using for this. One of my students are using this right now. The same setup which we are doing today, the same setup they are, but the provisioning tools they are using for the like as OpenShift and all those kind of tools they are using for this provisioning. Even they are most of things provisioning with this Ansible tool. Okay, fine. Like as they are making their life easier. Okay, like as how much you can make it complex, you can make it. How much you can make it easier, that much you can make it easier for these tools. Okay, fine. But most of the we need to be keep in mind like as security concerns. Okay, like as implementation way, backups, and then maybe let's say like as resilient way, and then blah blah things. Like a lot of things are there when we are developing a one new project, right? Those things we need to be considering that maybe the roles, maybe like as security, like as roles means like as in AWS we are going to provide particular users roles, right? Those kind of things. Okay, like as high availability, okay, disaster recovery, blah blah things. Fine, rollbacks and those stuff. Fine. Now let me show that this is the repository I'm using today. Now see here, this is the this code you guys are knows already. Okay, this index.html file. Okay, this is some HTML page we had. Some CSS we adding, some more style. Okay, some more style for some Docker file. In this Docker file, we just using for this. Even this line is not required. Even we already discussed this. Okay, in the previous sessions, right? When we discussed in the Docker session. Just I'm using base image Ubuntu. I'm just maintainer, or maintainer is the deprecated one. You can use the label instead of this, and we can use the work. I'm going to creating like as a working directory. This means like a CD kind of command, and then run. Then I'm updating the which we use the base image. I'm just installing the nodejs and npm. Even instead of two commands, we can make it a single command if we want to make it for optimize for Docker file. Even instead of, even we discussed in this, right? Instead of Ubuntu, we done the same project with the Alpine image also, if you guys remember. Okay. And the next what we do, we install the like a HTTP server, and the next all files I copied. Even this is not required at all. Okay. And the next, just I'm trying to show you like this is the first file is going to be open up. This all means everything will be copied. Don't use first dot. Okay. You can specifically don't copy the unwanted files. Like what are the files you don't want to copy? Don't copy them. Okay, that is very important when you do it for add and copy. And remember, add, don't use for add for most of the time. Just use the copy. Okay, that we discussed in the previous sessions. The Docker, sorry, add and copy command differences, right? Okay, what add will do, what copy will do, right? And then this is the executable for my starting my HTTP server. NPM server will be start. And this is the Docker file. This we already seen this couple of time examples, right? And the next here is that is done. That is done. Okay, it will be do this, and let me open my server here. Let me access my Jenkins server. Now that is a Docker file. That is the code. Okay, let me open up. Second, of Jenkins. Now, and one more thing here is you need to know, like as in this infrastructure, what are the things I have in the single system? Okay, this is the single infrastructure system I have. Now, for example, let's say this GitHub, everything is different way, and this Jenkins and Ansible and Kubernetes in a one master I have set up this. Okay, one single system I set up, right? And this here is the anyway in the cloud. These three in the single machine. Okay, these three in the single machine. Even we'll work out on the in remote repositories also. I'll show that as well in future. Okay, fine. Then next, what we do? Open up this, and this is the master where we install the Jenkins software. It is running on the integrated portal. Okay, now this is my code. I'll show the pipeline code. This Jenkins file I didn't push to the GitHub repository. Okay, I'll share with you guys. See here. Now in this pipeline, what I'm and then agent any and environment variables. Okay, these things are already knows. Or this is for our declarative pipeline code. Okay, and the next stages, I'm just cloning this repository. And the next what we do, I'm building the Docker image. And the next I'm pushing to the like as here is that I'm using ECR URL and credentials. For this, what you should do, if you want this one, you must have the install your Amazon ECR plugin to set up in your credentials. Okay, then this is the then credentials. these credentials which I set up for using for our like a Jenkins credentials page. Okay, this AWS credentials I set up. If you want to set up AWS credentials, that's fine. The next, this up to this will go for your pushing your Docker mesh to the ECR repository. The next one is the next step is that what I'm going to do, just I'm executing a Ansible playbook. For that playbook will be, this is deploy the node application, and this is my inventory file. This is my inventory file. Okay, let me show you that what it has basically. Okay, this inventory file, just I'm specifying here. Okay, even see this is your private repository. Let's say if it is private repository, no need to expose this stuff. Even if you don't want to push this all your inventory files and all, even once you go there, and we need to provide the path of where your like a inventory file located, where is your VM file located, all the stuff. Okay, fine. Now see here, I'm going to use the Ubuntu Ansible user. This is the key file where I have the key file I didn't push to the my GitHub repository. This key file in my local system. This key file in my local system, and this is my Python where I install the Python interpreter. Okay, this is my server IP. This is my private IP of this. Right. Then next, let me go to the Ansible playbook. These are the Ansible playbooks. We have done many things, right? Same. Okay, then go for your playbook. In this playbook, what I written, there is a two object I written. One for this what replicaset, and another object is for service object. Okay, these two objects I written. Okay, and even we already know these objects very clearly when we're discussing about the Kubernetes sessions. Now here is the extra things is that what I've written here is the K8s. This is the module I'm using to like a same syntax. Nothing is different here. Just I'm using for here is the only one thing is the K8s and state present. Present means it's like a setup install it, like a install like that. Okay. Now this is the same like as what are the syntax we are using for Kubernetes. The same syntax here. There is no anything here, no metadata of this. And the next, like as how many replicas you want to be run. What is the this is the based on this application only. Other service will be talk to each other. Replica set and then like as should be add this label and select. That's the concept if you guys remember. Okay, the same name if you have, then it will be add to the this replica set. What are the how many replicas are there? Every replicas will be added to the this service object because of replicas, and this replicas means what inside the pod will run. Pod will be down under the IPs will be changed. It's not be live more time, right? Now the IP will be changed. That is the reason we are going to be to access the any pod now. We are going to integrate with the service object. The service object we can access our application through the IP address, right? It's a fixed IP kind of. It's a fixed IP of the coupling. This replica sets and service object of the loose coupling. Okay. Use if someone will come to this name, those also will add it into the in the service object. Okay, the same way. This is the you guys knows right the syntax about this metadata, and definitely if you are writing here, you must specify the namespace of this here. So in let's say earlier we are not using the namespace default, right? When you are doing the same deployment the master using for Kubernetes file, then we need to specify the default namespace here. But here we need to be specified. Okay, and remaining things are common here. And if you want to execute this, there is a couple of things you require here. Okay, I made it here. All things are written. Okay, I installed OpenShift here. This is a OpenShift is needed, and Kubernetes and OpenShift. This commands is needed for this. This software is needed to execute your K8s module. K8s module. Okay, and if you want to install this pip3, and definitely you must install the Python pip. Okay, Python pip you must be installed. Okay, or else pip, Python pip3. Okay, and the pip3 means this is the installer of Python. Okay? Then using this software, it will install that. The next, what are things you require to install this? And let me show this. This is the points of it. Install an Ansible on the master. And Python, like I install Python and pip OpenShift dependencies on Ansible installation documentation. As for this, like as you can refer for Ansible this documentation which we show. Okay. And they install Jenkins and Kubernetes master and added Jenkins user into the Docker group. Okay, for reboot the mission for like after adding the Docker group, then reboot the mission. Okay, the next we added for Jenkins user to this because of it won't ask the sudo like a permission in addition to run your Docker commands. The next what we do, we are going to give this install like a Amazon Azure plugin, Ansible plugin, Docker pipeline, Jenkins plugin, okay, to execute our Docker pipeline. Now, then next, add Jenkins user into the sudo, because of if you want to execute any sudo command in Jenkins file, in Jenkins pipeline, you want to add into the your sudo file in the Jenkins user. That's what I added here in this example, right? And the next, what we do, or let me show that one more thing here. Now, when you install that Ansible plugin, it will come to the let me apply, save it. Jenkins and go to manage Jenkins. Here we need to set up for where your Ansible is executable is available. Okay. When install user bin folder we had a Ansible. Okay. Or else it won't be this name. Won't be your tool. Okay. This is where specifying for our pipeline code. Right. This is a mandatory step. And remember, the Kubernetes cluster we are not adding here. Remember, okay, we are deploying through the Ansible. Through the deploying, we are Ansible. That's the reason I did not add the Kubernetes plugin or anything. I am not using that. Even that is a different way. Even that we'll discuss that. Without Ansible, we can deploy directly from the kubectl commands. We can use inside this if you are adding your Kubernetes master in your Jenkins server. Okay, we have the Kubernetes plugins where we can add that also. That is a possibility. Okay, then go to Jenkins and go to your job and go to the pipeline code. Here, let's see here. Okay, this is the one done. Then simply I'm going to use for Ansible playbook, and this is the inventory file I'm passing. Like as if you want to do any custom inventory file, we need to specify that and then inventory file name. But if it's the host, if it is in the same mission, the host means the default path is the host is the inventory. Okay, now here is the if you custom name, custom file you are passing, then you must specify the which is the file your inventory you are going to use this. Okay, and the remaining thing, like as post action, what I do, I'm just remove that image into my system because of it's a waste of my space in my system. Okay, just I'm removing what are the image I build the above. What is the build? And remember one more thing here is that this URL is your URL and this node app project name, and these two things we are going to be set up through the any script or maybe manually, whatever it could be. Okay, this is the only one time setup. Okay, only one time setup. For that, what I've written, I've written one script here. Okay, and let me show that. Okay, if you want to create a repository through the command line, just use this. Just use the create a repository through the AWS CLI command. This is the name of your repository. This is the name of your repository. It will create a repository. Okay, and the next another thing is that now you want to log in that Docker login command, then this is the command we need to use that. Okay, because of if you want to push images, they need a Docker login command. Okay, this is the get login. Now the API will be changed AWS CLI 2. Now this is the get login password we are going to be used and to log in your Docker login. Okay, then only we can push and pull the images from this particular private repository. Okay, and the next, what I do, I'm going to use for one shell script here to get a token. Because of see, when you are, if you find here in our, where is that? In our code, in our Ansible playbook, we have seen this one extra name here. Okay, image full secret. Now here means now I'm going to create one secret. That secret name is this. Now what it contains, yeah, it has your ECR repository credentials, token it has. Then it will be like as expire for every 12 hours. It will expire for every 12 hours. Now let's say, let me show that script. Even I push that code in this here. When we have a repository, this is a script I have written. Okay, now just this is your account name, this is for your KZ, this is which region you want to be create, and this is for your secret name. Secret name is the region ECR registry. This is the way you are going to be get the secret name. If whatever it could be, your wish. This is the name your wish. Okay, and the next, this is the email that you wish. Okay, And the next what we do, if you are like this is the way we are going to get a token. This is a command will give the token of your credentials. Okay, I'm going to encrypt this, and like as if I use the cut command and the next colon with this monitor and then F2, the token will come. The token will come. If you want to see the token, then we can execute this command. When if you execute this, we'll get a token. So, this is the variable ID ampersand. That's the reason. Okay, this is the token authorized token. Okay, now that is what it will be stored in this variable. That variable I'm going to use in this password as a password. Now username is the AWS. Okay, this is the mail ID is whatever you specify, it will be that. Now it will get a QBC, it will create secret. This is a secret object. This is one of the, if you want to get your private repository images, it could be Nexus, it could be JFrog, it could be ECR, it could be Docker Hub for private repositories. Docker Hub for your private repositories. Then we can use for the secret object in your Kubernetes. Okay, clear? Now what we do for this, I already have this. Now if you run this, now your images are failure. Okay, images are not downloading. Now in that scenario, we are going to be run this script. This script I am not automated as of now. We'll make it automation this in the pipeline script. Okay, I am going to run this script in the whenever I require. Okay, whenever I require to manually in this, I am running here. I'm running in my code here. Okay, we can make it this also when you run your job, even it will be executed. Even we can add into the your script, script. One command we are going to add, it will be executed. There is a couple of issues I'm facing this. That's it. I'm not adding. I'll show the next level of this. Understand, guys? End-to-end things. Now let me explain one more time. Now we had a code here. In this code, we have like a Jenkins file we didn't add here. Directly we use the groovy blocks we written here. Okay, then next what we do, it will be pull your code, it will build your image, and it will be pushed to the your ECR repository. And ECR repository, from there I'm going to pull here. So where you specify this ECR repository URL means it is in our Ansible playbook. If you guys have seen or not, let me show one more time. Okay, in here Ansible playbook. If you see here, this is your repository URL, and then so how look like this ECR repository? Can I show you? This is your container registry. Okay, this is the all which we have, and this is the node app. Like as of now, from morning, like as couple of before our site push this images. Okay, this is a couple of images I pushed here. Now, as of now, we did any specify even our pipeline build number or commit ID for our image. Now, I'm going to give the latest as the default one as of now. Even if you want to do, you can add for like as image, like as build number, or maybe git commit ID or something, whatever you want to be, like as your unique image ID. If you want to build, you can build that also. We'll do that also next step. Okay. Even that we have done in our previous Docker with ECR integration, our previous pipelines you will get from that. Even you will be get from our examples. Right? Thing is, that is what this image. Okay. What is your repo cluster? How the URL I will get to know means this is the URL. If you see here, even sorry. Okay, this is what it said. Okay. If you latest, don't want to specify this. If you this is what exactly that image I'm going to specify there in our playbooks. This one. Okay, this is your account ID. Where can I get this service? When you create a repository, you can get there, or else you can get it from. When you click this, even it will show your account. And remaining things are common, like as your reason name and then ECR dot something. Okay, the syntax of your URL. So this is a URL. Okay. This is your region, then Amazon AWS.com, and then this is your repository name. Okay. Repository name. Clear, guys? End to end everything. Let me build and let's see that application. And see, as of now, my service name is that. Let's see here. Let me show that before going to deploy. And this is service, okay? And this metadata, and this is your service name, and this hello node web app. And this is the replica set name is that. Where is that? The replica set name is web app. Replica set name is web app. Let me show that in our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, clear. If you want to get it, that kubectl get rs replica set. Now that replica set is not available here. Okay, there is no web app replica set. And kubectl get SVC service object. Okay, now we don't have a service object node app like a node application. Hello node app, right? So hello node web app. This is not available as well, right? And you guys are knows already. If you want to access the outside of service, then you can use for here is the node port or maybe load balancer type. Okay, this type is the load like as load balancer or maybe node port, something like that. Even we do not use any ingress or load balancing kind of here. We'll discuss in the next sessions. Okay, we'll integrate that too also. Okay, clear, guys? Clear? All code what we are using now here, all the tools and code. Let's build it. Let me access our application. Any questions till now? Before going to do this, let me log in our ECR repository here, and then this script I'll execute here, okay, without failing. Okay, maybe that token may be expired. Now what I do, I'm going to execute this docker login command. This is available under the our ECR. Okay, this is the one. Okay, this repository already there. There's no need to create again. Then what to do? Just log in this. This is a docker login. Okay, login succeeded. And the next there is a script like as create ECR. This is not repo exactly. This is a secret it will create. Okay, the name which we use for different script. Then I replace to the script like as create a secret one. Okay, our secret is created. The next what we do, this is the name exactly I am using there. Okay, episode 1 is assist. Okay, this registry name I am using in our playbook level. Guys, clear? Any questions? Let me build the job. Guys, what others? Let me build. Let me it's going on. It takes a little bit time for image building. Even if you need this, let me see the console output of this. Okay, see this. It's building. Even instead of this Ubuntu, it little bit choose one. Okay, and even you can make it for our Alpine example. You guys already knows, right? We already have our Docker example with this two flavors. One is Ubuntu, and then we already seen the difference between that two when you use them, right? See that DevOps. Now let's make Docker practicals, and here we done the same thing with the Docker Alpine also, right? In the Docker file, if you see this, you can see this. Using Alpine image we are using, and then we build this, and it will be very less space will be occupied this. Okay, we already done this example in our class sessions. Okay, you can use that instead of this. Okay, now what here is that I'm trying to build this in the even Jenkins also. Instead of installation, we can deploy even Jenkins also our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, that is also possible. You can write here one Ansible playbook, or could be like maybe any like as Kubernetes object we can deploy into our Jenkins server also into Kubernetes cluster. And even though we are going to be like as instead of this, even we discussed this, right? We can create our Jenkins using for our couple of all your dependencies, and we can get our custom image, right? That session we discussed, if you guys remember, we create our Jenkins server with our own customized Jenkins image. Now let me show this DevOps and self nodes. DevOps and self nodes. And the next what we do, let's see here. Let me go back to our Jenkins using this pattern, right? Okay, couple of things, our even Docker and Jenkins integration, even that Ansible, and even we can set up for kubectl, like as OpenShift, all dependencies we can set up here, and we can build your own image, then run it. Okay, instead of manual installation, we can make it as a containerization. We can make it as a containerization. Okay, we already done a couple of things here, even Python and pip, all everything we can keep it in the single Docker file, then run it. Okay, if you are using for your legacy system, then we can bind the volume also. Okay, the same like this. Okay, see this. We already done this in the previous sessions, if you guys remember. Okay, check that also. Okay, it got succeeded, and let me go and check that the objects are created or not. kubectl get pods. Now these pods are came, and see the replica set. This is the replica set, web app replica set came, and then get svc service object. Now our service object is running. Service object is running on the node port is the 30,003. Okay. Now this port is the 30,000 to 32,767. Okay, the port range we need to use in the node port basically. Okay, and let me access this. I'm going to use the node IP and the next access this service. Instead of node IP, even we can make it for load balancer. Using that load balancer, we can access our application. Okay, go to here, because the actual application is running on the nodes. Okay, actual application is running nodes. That is the reason we are going to take the node IP, not for the master IP. Remember, means in this here, if your Kubernetes cluster it has here, and the next there is a couple of nodes are done here. Like as maybe if you're not specify the which node you want to run, basically it will go to the first node. Okay, if even you can specify the which node you want to deploy this. Okay, even that is in the Kubernetes object, well, we're going to specify that. Now it will deploy, and if it is busy, then it will go for deploy. Okay, node to node cluster. Then I'm going to access from this to outside of the client. Means client means what? The browser which are going to access this. This one. The next node one. Then go for this, and the next access this. Okay, this is the page which we deploy in the through the Kubernetes. The same application which we used in the Docker session. Clear, guys? This we can add the more flavors on this. Okay, there is a lot of things. Is there a lot of security concerns are okay, and the create repositories and all those kind of things. Anything we can add it for our automation way through our Jenkins pipeline. We can add many things here. Okay, we can export the script. We can log in Docker login command, and we can create a repository command. If you don't have a repository, okay, even we can return for the Ansible playbook for that also. Okay, we can use the condition when the repository name is changed, then only it will be when condition we can use in the Ansible playbooks. Okay, that we can do with the Ansible playbook also. We are comfortable. Okay, then we can make it for our automation. Like as you can use Ansible, or you can use for shell script, or you can use Python, or you can use for like as even Kubernetes itself, or as you can use for Terraform, or as you can use for CloudFormation, whatever it would be. Okay, or it should be OpenShift, or it would be like as whatever they are going to be using this. That is a client requirement. That is a manager architecture, how they will be defined. Is it clear? See, even without these tools, we can deploy application. Don't think that. Okay, This is for our way of, we can simplify it, way of our make it our life easy. Okay, that's what we are using. Yeah, we can if you guys remember, we are set up for this route 53, right? This route 53 URL access, load balancing setup, and provisioning, deploying, configuring, all this stuff we can do with the Terraform or something like that. Okay, there is another application which we are doing the automation with. Instead of Kubernetes, we are deploying in the ECS bucket, completely serverless. Okay, we can use for VPC and then ECS and ECR, ECS bucket. Okay, ECS bucket and ECR, and then next Terraform, and then route 53. Everything we can make it our custom domain. We'll make it entire our application in the serverless, and that is the most powerful. Instead of this Kubernetes also take huge amount we are spending for that, because of the nodes is not that much easy. Okay, if we take a serverless, we don't need to specify the which kind of instance we need to take. Okay, how much like as EBS storage we don't need to specify this. Now if you go for serverless, just to specify the how much RAM, how much CPU, that's it. We don't need to worry about that. Even if you use the ECS forget, we don't need to worry about that like as blue-green deployment also. Why means like as if the new one will become of the business, then the old one never go down. Okay, if a new container will become. Okay, that is the beauty of this. We can implement with the auto scaling feature, like even the ECS have the feature of that. Okay, we can specify the desired capacity and then minimum capacity of that. Then if you like as how many containers you want to be run, then we can specify this. It's a awesome, like ECS forget is a very awesome application. Instead of this, this is Kubernetes is a really headache. This if you go for ECS forget, then our life is very simple and more secure and more easy, and entire infrastructure single command execution we can make it happen. That is my feel. Okay, even couple of guys, maybe lovers of Kubernetes certification guys are Kubernetes, they won't agree that, but really, okay, really what I'm using, that's what I'm saying. That's my experience basically. Hope you guys are clear. Clear, guys? We already discussed Raviteja. I think you're not there. I think so, right? No, yes, we are going to do with this Terraform with the forget. Okay, I think we discussed in this sessions, right? No, ECS we didn't discuss right in our AWS sessions. No, right? We'll discuss in our Terraform sessions, like as in ECS, how we are going to deploy the ECS. We can deploy two ways. One for the like as let's say our forget and then EC2. There is a two ways. Launch models are the two models are there. One is a forget model, one is the EC2 model. The EC2 model means like as the EC2 servers will be created and then the application will deploy on the EC2 instances. If you don't want to EC2 instances, then the serverless will go for the forget. Clear? We'll discuss that.